Hey, here's another one of those videos that's not very planned and we just kind of shot as we went. So I don't know if it makes any sense, but this is a trip we made to Sweden to visit my youngest daughter who was studying there in Gothenburg. My oldest daughter was able to get off work for long enough that we could do a trip, and so we did. Ciao, what do you think of this journey so far?
It's fine. Like our flights.
I mean, it worked out. It was a little hectic. And I didn't think the flight was that bad. You guys thought it was bad?
Okay, here's the update. We traveled 21 hours yesterday to get to Gothenburg, Sweden. We had all kinds of troubles. The flight in Asheville was delayed as usual, and every time we're in that airport, we tell ourselves we're never gonna go there again and we're just gonna drive to Atlanta or Charlotte, but we never do. So we got to Atlanta late. We ran from Concourse B to Concourse International and ran up to the gate. It was like 15 minutes before the flight left and they had closed the doors. And the guy was like, "I'm sorry, it's closed, you can't get on. Security, once we close the doors, they're closed." And we bitched and moaned and complained and argued, and Jen was acting like we had a 3-year-old infant in Gothenburg that we were trying to get to. "Oh, we have to get to our daughter." And that didn't work. So anyway, we went to the desk where we were gonna get new flights. And then like 5 minutes later, the same guy came running down and he's like, "Anybody going to Amsterdam? Let's go." And so there were probably 15 people in the same spot because there were a bunch of flights delayed. Maybe more than that. And so we all sprinted back over there, and they were going to open the gate and open the doors and let us in. But then we had to rebook because they had given our tickets away or whatever and rebooked us on other flights. And that took forever. And everybody else on the line got through, even though we were first in line. And then, so we were just worried that it wasn't going to work out. But finally, then they opened the doors and put us in the little hallway and locked the doors and kept our stuff. And we just had to wait. And finally it sorted out and they let us on the plane, but it was a nightmare. And everybody on the plane was pissed at us. But so anyway, we made it. We went to dinner last night at this great place called Board 27, and it was really good, and the waitress was super nice and gave us some Gothenburg tips and stuff, and it was nice. It was a nice dinner. And
How about
our place was pretty cool. There's Milena. There's Jen. Are you decent in the bathroom?
Yeah.
There's Chelbel.
Hi.
And this is our place. It's like a full-on apartment. It's big. Here's the girls' room. And this big hallway. And the TV room with a freaky fireplace. And then our bedroom. And then this weird room that we thought was a bathroom but isn't. And then through here. Then this is just empty room. And then a full-on kitchen. It's like a full-on apartment. And it's cool staying in places like this because you kind of feel like you're living here for a couple days. And it's a cool neighborhood. And we're pretty close to Haga, which is like the little tourist place. That's like a 15-20 minute walk. And you can see over there, there's stuff. And right down there, a few blocks, there's a big street with all kinds of stuff. So it's a pretty good location. And today I think we're going to get a huge cinnamon roll, which is a thing here. And then we're going to go to the City Museum. And then after that, we're probably going to go to the Fish Church. And then we might go to another museum. And we also have to deal with moving out Milena out of her dorm room. So we're going to see about that as well.
Gothenburg is one of those cities you probably wouldn't visit as an American tourist, and sometimes those are the best cities to go to. It's a gorgeous place with historical, old-world architecture, and it reminded us a little bit of Prague, where Marcella had done a semester a few years ago. This is the Haga district, which has a 19th century sort of vibe with lots of modern restaurants and shops. We were there to experience the famous cinnamon bun from Café Husaren called the Hagabullen. By the way, I take no responsibility for any pronunciation for this entire video. It was a little touristy, but if you're in Haga, you gotta eat a Hagabullen. Lane, what's Pagoden or whatever it is?
I had to go get into my school. Right here, that's where I had lectures. For my biodiversity course. My daughters are avid thrift store connoisseurs, and anything that puts that Macklemore song in my head is okay with me. Next, we walked over to the Gothenburg City Museum, which is housed in a gorgeous building that was originally built as offices for the Swedish East India Company in 1762. This ship is from the year 900. The museum covers 12,000 years of history in the region. This was a great way to get a feel for the area and its rich history. The Feska Korka, or Fish Church, is a fairly fancy fish market with several restaurants. We had some lunch and it was not cheap. We would have probably been better off buying some snacks from the stalls, but it was worth it to see all the fresh seafood on offer, as well as the interesting building, which first opened in 1874. Haga's like this Santa Monica promenade sort of style. We made our way to the Skansen Kronan, which was built to help protect the city and was completed in 1698. In 1900, it became a military museum, which closed in 2004. The collection went to the Museum of Gothenburg, where we'd been earlier in the day. Then we went to Milena's dorm to help her get packed up. We ended the day at Levantine, an amazing restaurant with authentic French food. It was delicious. The public transport system in Gothenburg is very easy to use, especially since Milena was so familiar with it. We made our way by bus to Saltholmen, where we continued by boat to visit Vrango, one of the many islands in the southern Gothenburg archipelago. There are a few tourist boat tours you could take, but the public ferry is cheap and easy and comfortable. They've got a really cool public transit system. So we took public transit all the way from the apartment to Vrango, this island, and it's really, really pretty. And we're looking for a place to swim. Lane, what are you doing here in Sweden? I'm studying abroad for 6 weeks in
Where?
Gothenburg University.
What's the program? Speak up a little bit too.
Dad! Biodiversity.
That's all you got?
Yes. And it was amazing. And I love it.
Chell, do you have anything to add?
Mango Island was a great excursion with nice hiking and gorgeous views. We ended the day at a restaurant in Haga that I won't attempt pronouncing, but it was fantastic. The next day, we started with an extremely pleasant walk through the Gothenburg Rose Garden. From there, we headed to Slotskogen, which is the city's largest city park, where Milena gave us a tour of the free zoo she and her friends had visited as a part of their coursework. We stopped off at a famous ice cream shop and were too busy eating to film it. And suddenly, our time in Gothenburg was over. The next morning, we took a 3-hour train ride to Stockholm, found our Airbnb, explored the neighborhood, and had dinner at the historic Pelican, which has been around in one form or another since the 1600s. We had some traditional food, including dumplings with lingonberry, pig knuckle, and Swedish meatballs.
Here's a tour of the Airbnb. There's Kjell's room in air quotes. There's Lane's room. It's pretty small, but it's good. We're in this really cool neighborhood. Södermalm. There's lots of action out here. Bars and restaurants. There's me and Jen's room.
We took a ferry to our most important stop of the trip, the ABBA Museum. It was here where Jennifer made one of my fondest wishes come true. For a moment, I was married to a member of the world's greatest musical group. Next, we visited the Vasa Museum, which cannot be missed. On display is a fully intact 17th century ship that sunk on its maiden voyage in 1628, but was perfectly preserved. This was an incredible exhibit, and to see firsthand the state-of-the-art technology from 400 years ago was incredibly interesting. Stockholm is a gorgeous city and would be worth visiting just to walk around all day. We checked out Old Town, Gamlestan, walked down the city's narrowest street, and just explored. On our last full day in Sweden, we decided to visit another island and took a public bus and then a ferry to Vaxholm. It took about an hour to get there, and it was well worth it. The island is gorgeous, and we had a great time hiking and exploring. Later, on the way back to the apartment, we went to see some of the famous metro art. We had an amazing time in Sweden, and we can't wait to go back. Thanks for watching. Please hit like if you liked this video, click the alert bell for notifications, and please subscribe. See you next time.